Shalom guys, what's going on? Welcome to Messianic Me TV. And this is the second time of me recording this video because the first time the camera died. But no worries, let's go ahead and do this. Alright, so for today's topic, we're going to be talking about good tradition versus bad tradition. Alright, so when I was looking for a topic for today's video, I noticed that pretty much any topic that has to do with anything religious is always going to be very sensitive. So right off the bat, I want to go ahead and get this out there. This video and all of my content is always going to be my opinion. You don't have to agree with me, but if you do have questions or any comments you want to make, let's just make sure they're nice and civilized and with a lot of love. Alright, so let's get to it. First, I'm going to define what I see as traditions. So what I see as traditions is basically anything that is not specifically commanded in Scripture in Torah, but is practiced as a way of enriching the actual walk. With that, let's start with what good tradition is. To me, good tradition is anything that points you towards Messiah, that isn't being pretended to be a commandment itself, and that is not becoming a stumbling block for the actual walk. So bad tradition then becomes anything that turns you away from Torah or Yeshua, that becomes a stumbling block, or anything that's put in the same regard as Torah when it's not. One quick and good example of good tradition to me would be the ceremony that we do to initiate Shabbat, which is called EREV Shabbat. Now in this ceremony, you're gonna see specific elements that are used to symbolize things in the spiritual realm. We have the candles, the bread, and we have the wine. Now the reason why I think this is a good tradition is because I can see very clearly how it points towards Messiah. Namely, the candles represent Yeshua in that he is the light of the world. I see how the bread represents him because he is the bread of life. And I see how the wine, or the grape juice, represents his blood that was shed for us. So because of these things and how they help symbolize things that are in Scripture and how they help me live it out in a very visual and tactile way, that's why I think it's a good tradition. So now then, let's talk about something I think it's a bad tradition. Now, a great example of what I think is bad tradition can be perfectly displayed in the Brit Hadashah, or the New Testament. There's an episode in which the Pharisees come up to Yeshua and ask him, hey, why don't your Talmudim, or disciples, not wash their hands before they eat bread? Washing your hands is not a bad tradition on its own. However, we could see why it's viewed as a bad tradition right with Yeshua's answer when he says, why do you, with your traditions, put aside the commandments of God? In other words, why are you making your traditions greater than the actual commandments themselves? Because of it being put in higher regard than the commandments, or even at the same level, that immediately makes it bad tradition. Alright guys, so those are just two examples. One of what I think is good tradition, one that I think is bad tradition. Now I want to hear from you guys. What do you think are some cool traditions that you see in Messianic Judaism, or even in Christianity or in regular Judaism? And what are some traditions that you see as bad traditions? I hope you were blessed by this video, and if you were, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Also, if you enjoy these videos that I'm putting out, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, and also make sure to hit that little bell button. What that's going to do is make sure that you don't miss any one of my videos. Thank you so much for your time. Have a blessed week. Shalom.